Alright guys, I hope you can keep up with the video because I've shot this one time and I rambled on and on. But first thing I want to put out there is the big disclaimer. Not adding to the drama, not feeding the trolls. I speak only for myself. I'm not dropping dimes or nor naming names. And might do a little explanation of why I'm doing this video because, we'll get there. Alright, so I'm taking a break from the break obviously. And, the break's no big deal. There's a lot of breaks going on. Internet company messed up my bill for the last 2 months. And it reached a point where I just said, just drop the internet. I'm not making videos here. I can make videos, go to the library, uploading, all this other things. I'm not paying what they messed up and they wouldn't give me credit for, and it was their fault. And they turned around and to keep me, they gave me $30 a month for 10 megabytes per second internet. Now, just to give you an idea, I was on 3 megabytes, per second. Huge difference. So I got on here and I hadn't watched videos in a while, and the only time I really played around last week is when we tried to do a Finally Design last week, and Google Plus wouldn't let us, wouldn't cooperate. So I got on here with this new high-speed internet and just playing around. So I'll watch a few videos, and oh wow, what a difference a day makes. I played around a little bit on Sunday, and don't get me wrong, but I wasn't real vigilant, but I played around on it, and saw a few things where I can tell there has to be an extra piece added, because I can count 10 videos on my hand that I've watched where people seem to be disappointed that a lot of us are taking breaks, and as far as I know, it wasn't planned. Yes, the trolls had a little to do with why I took a break. I'm not speaking for other people and stuff, okay? But here's the extra piece. I hear a lot of disappointment. I hear a lot of we should step up. And then I heard the last one I watched that got me was this is saying that the trolls have won. It's not a power struggle, okay? But there's a big missing piece in this, at least with me. And that it wasn't the trolls, but this was definitely the last straw, okay? All right, let me back up here, okay? Now I'm gonna give you. I'm not naming names. Don't ask me to name names. I'm trying to take the high road, and it's the last thing on my mind. But about 2 months ago, I got contacted by one person, okay, and they were trying to give me a heads up, okay, that one of our community members had a problem with me, okay, and I've had time to think about it, and this is just a jealous person who is basically started believing his own hype or something, and he's in it for the numbers. He wants to. It's kind of like he showed up at our playground where we were all playing. Everybody was getting along fine, and he came in there and he was, instead of just playing with everybody and getting along, it's like he was scoping out everybody and ripping off this person here and learning from that person there and trying to do this and trying to do that, and the whole time he had these goals apparently, and he's a very jealous person for whatever reason. Now my whole attitude is that what we do here, what's cool about comics and doing this comic community is that I've always felt like people are kind of missing out because of the stigma of comics and not wanting to be afraid of not being cool or getting picked on and stuff. And when you do a YouTube video on the comic book community, you shouldn't be. It's not one of those things where you're going to be highly disappointed if you think you're going to be a superstar. You're going to be some big internet sensation, some big YouTube sensation. Like I said a minute ago, you get 100 views on your video, you should feel like a rock star. Okay, we were, and I'm sure in some ways still are, a tight knit community, and we all watched each other's videos, and other people would pop in and stuff. So I don't know what happened with this guy, but I was getting a heads up that he had a huge problem, and I know exactly where he started mouthing off when it started. So I took the high road and I just kind of ignored it, and actually this person got tested twice by me, and I was like, okay, this guy's telling me the truth. And a second person talked to me about it. So right there, it's two people who didn't know we were talking to each other. One person approached me with it, the other person, I brought it up to them. Pretty much the same story. And then the trolls hit again. We know what happened with R. Dowdy. And what was strange about it is that I thought the same thing was happening to me. as soon as I got approached with something in my personal life about YouTube videos, I was like, oh my God, they must have done it to me, you know. And I hit panic mode and stuff and tried to play cool with it and stuff. And I started doing some digging, and I approached two people. And this is where the conversation gets weird if you're still following me here. Turns out I was not getting trolled like R. Dowdy. It was my personal life. Okay, it was somebody in my personal life in the real world out here taking a shot. Okay, so I put two and two together. But what happened was is when I started digging with some people behind the scenes on YouTube and stuff, the very first conversation I had went kind of weird, and I'm protecting everybody who talked to me. Don't worry, you know. I hate using that word protected, but we were speaking in confidence. That's going to be protected if you're watching the video, so don't panic here. But what happened was is that they assumed that I was asking questions about trolling me and who might be out to get me and all this stuff, because I can't wrap my head around this. You know, I'm like, how is this happening? I didn't have all the facts in the real world there. And then they were having a separate conversation, and they kind of seemed like they were relieved for a minute, and I just let them talk, and they gave me a heads up that, you know, somebody has been ruining my reputation, saying I'm lying on my videos, saying some of the stories that happened just never happened, and just pretty much trying to ruin our reputation. And this is around the same time that I started noticing I was losing viewers, subscribers, and losing views. I didn't really think too much about losing views in my videos, but when I noticed the subscribers dropping, I went from 625 or 630 down to like 590 at this time. I'm down to 585. And it's all because of jealousy and sabotage and talking behind the scenes. And then I was going back and forth, you know, I got something from the second person, you know, same thing. I'm like, holy cow. So I talked to one other person, you know, and I think I mentioned this twice to him, like, have you heard anything and stuff? And it was a mutual friend there and all this stuff, and they were just sort of like, I don't know, man, I don't know. So I was getting told, you know, well, just talk to the guy, you can hash it out and stuff. And something was telling me this guy's not going to admit to it if he does it. I mean, who would, you know? And again, there's no blueprint for this. If you're following me, if you even care, I feel like I'm dragging out here. So I'm going back and forth on, do I try to talk this out? Do I let it go? Do I take the high road? Do I know what the problem is? How do you deal with something like this? And then his actions. He did two things where he finally told, well, three things actually, where he told on himself. And that was it. I'm like, yep, that's it. So basically I felt betrayed, and then I got angry, and then I was confused, and I'm going to admit I got my feelings hurt, because it's one thing for trolls to come out there, but it's another thing to be a hypocrite, talk about like you're going to fight the trolls, try to act like you're taking up for people, and then you're the one doing it. You're the one doing it behind the scenes like a freaking 4-year-old little, you know, little spoiled girl. You know, you can't be man to man. You can't be content with what you got. You can't be appreciative of the following you got and stuff. But, you know, you want to sabotage people because you're jealous or something. That's the only thing I can figure out. So I'm done. I'm done with him, with it. This is the only time I want to speak of it. What I'm putting out there is that don't be disappointed on people taking their breaks and stuff and feel like the trolls have won and stuff, because my story is, which leaked over to one or two other people, well, turns out this was like one of the worst kept secrets on YouTube behind the scenes, with this disdain this person has, towards me, I guess. I wouldn't listen to them now if they did talk, because their actions have spoken more. They've actually did two or three things where it was just blatantly right there, you know, on top of what I was getting told. They just fell right in line. It's not a misunderstanding. So what I'm getting at is just, you know, some people are taking breaks. Don't feel like the trolls have won, and don't feel like, you know, I'm trying not to use the words I heard in the videos, because they were using words like leaders and all this stuff. To me, it's a bunch of peers. You know, we're all the same here, and you know, it's nothing's been abandoned. It's just it's one thing for trolls to be out there, you know, popping up and doing their things with us, but it's a whole different story when you're betrayed. You feel a betrayal by a friend, a snake in the grass. All right, so, you know, watch the video while it's up. I'm going to take it down because I've been thinking about this for 5 hours, 6 hours, you know, because somebody has informed me that they're out. They're not making any more videos, and that pisses me off. Alright? Hopefully, a few days they'll change their mind. Not for me to say who it is, not for me to speak for anybody, but, you know, way to go. Way to go. Freaking drove a freaking spike right down the middle of the community. Shattered it. He actually hurt a lot of feelings. So I hope you're proud of yourself. I hope you get tons of views, and I hope you become the superstar that you think you are. You know.